Today we will take a look at my teak floor that I have outside on my balcony, and I'm coming back with a new video because some of you saw the video where I put Osmo hard wax oil on this floor, and you commented and said this Osmo hard wax oil is not supposed to be used outdoors, and indeed that's absolutely correct, and that's also what I said in the video. Regardless, it did not perform very well, and the hard wax oil came off as flakes. Now I will show you some areas. We have here still some flakes coming off. And we also commented in the previous video on the mold in the Osmo hard wax oil. Now fortunately, with time your Osmo hard wax oil will completely come off, even though it takes some time, as you can see here. We should emphasize here that this time it takes for the weather to drain your teak floor on all the Osmo hard wax oil is 6 years. So the last video I made, which was received with a little bit of skepticism, that was made 2 years after my original impregnation. Now it's been another 4 years. It will in fact be that your teak floor will be completely drained, as you can see up here, and your teak floor will return into the silver gray color that it has unimpregnated. And maybe this is the optimal way or best way to maintain your teak floor, and that is not to impregnate it at all. Anyway, that brings us to today's video, because this time I have purchased the most expensive teak oil that is recommended for use in the marine environment. So hopefully the LeFant 100% teak oil will revive the wooden color of this floor. Now my expectations are high, and but I'm reading here the product have been selected after thorough scrutiny in laboratory as well as practical use, and it seems to be a pretty straightforward process of applying it. I can also read here on the internet: teak oil, LeFant, to protect teak and other hardware from dirt and water, and to give them a golden brown weatherproof surface with high luster and easy to clean finish for indoor and outdoor use, as you can see this time. So this teak oil should do the job for us here. We can also read that the teak oil, LeFant teak oil, has received 4.8 out of 5 in rating on mori.se in 252 reviews. So that seems pretty promising. It tells me to do a first impregnation. Apply the oil with a sponge rag or a brush. Leave the oil to penetrate for 30 to 40 minutes. Check the surface during this time. If there is a surplus oil, respread it over the surface. Great. We will do this. The coverage is 7.5 square meter on half a liter container like this, 500 milliliter. It's 15 square meter on 1 liter. Price of one of these 500 milliliter LeFant oil is $17 for half a liter, 500 milliliter. $17 or 17 euros. You can tell that it's a very dry material It soaks in the oil very rapidly. "500 milliliters is about half of the floor, one application." So 15 square meters, that is, well, to be honest, from the instruction manual, it's a bit on the lower end side. I think you probably need more. So 15 square meters, that's 7.5 square meters for one of these bottles. Well, I estimate that that's about 4 square meters, and that's only one application. So you probably need 2 applications if your floor is drained on oil since before. So in essence, to cover this area here, which is about 7 square meters, 7.5 square meters, it's not required 1 bottle, but instead about 4 bottles. 4 bottles. Now, before I do these last few sections here, I'm going to share with you something that I observed here, which might be interesting for your own work. This particular piece of wood here is brand new. I have replaced that one. This is what it looked like when I bought this floor 7 years ago. I found it in the storage room and it was cracked, the original one that was sitting there, so I replaced it and put this one on there instead. You can see how uniformly impregnated it is, or as it was before, and how fancy it looked when I put in the new floor. And on top here, just up here, you see some remains of the mold that came with the Osmo hard wax. You can see the black small dots over there. You can also see some remains of the entire Osmo hard wax, which is this orange structure here, where it hasn't been drained out yet. And here you can see it's been drained out. But this is the original tile. Now, a completely drained system where you have completely lost all the Osmo hard wax oil is over here. And you can see more even here, where I just put my foot here. I haven't finished the job yet, but you can see now how they're being sucked up, the Chinese oil, inside the teak, and it's regaining its color. But it's not exactly the same color that you have here as you have over there. But maybe that's because of that. What you see in this image is the natural wood in itself. Well, it's been a couple of hours now, and the wood has had a proper chance to suck up as much as possible of the LeFant oil that we put on there. And I will take some moments here now to show you what it turned out like. And these were, for example, certain areas of the wood that had nothing left of the Osmo oil on it. And you can see how the silvery grayish tone has turned into something which is dark, almost burnt in color. In the areas where we had some, or probably plenty, of Osmo oil still inside the wood, you can see it has a different color in itself. But the drained areas, as you remember, probably this one here, up here, and this one was a good example. Here you can actually suspect that it may even take more oil if I apply a second layer here. This has been a first layer, and I'm quite satisfied with the result as it is. Although I can see that areas like this here, the Teak LeFant oil has not been able to penetrate because of still remaining flakes from the Osmo 3062 oil, I think it was called. We have the same pattern over here, but it seems like with time the old Osmo oil will be completely relieved from its remains that may be still in the wood tiles. Here's another example of how you can see the flakes of the Osmo oil still clinging on to this here, and they actually fall off just by poking around with my nail. So I think the outcome of this will be that we will get back a lot of the wooden color by using the teak oil impregnation from LeFant, but it won't give us back exactly the same color as we had from the beginning. And this was the color we had from the beginning, the first time this floor, well, how it was delivered. Now it looks more like this, and it's less shiny, and it has a bit of a silvery burnt color to it. So overall, now we have to wait for another 2 years until we can tell how this one will turn out with time. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this helps you to get a feel for what you can expect from the teak impregnation oils that you have out there. Cheers!